Something I say a lot is you can only lead people to the depth in which you've led yourself. And it doesn't mean that you need to have experienced the exact same circumstances or have the exact same results, but it's like you can only take people to a certain depth. If you haven't led yourself there, how do you ever know? And the greatest analogy I can use is a mountain analogy. And it's something that I've said for years and years, where it's like a lot of people, they're at the bottom of the mountain and they have a map and they've bought the map, they've bought the program, they've bought the experience, and they're like looking, going, okay, I don't know which direction to go in. So they're looking there and there's like six different paths and they're like, but do I go this way or this way or this way? And this is where you can see a lot of people, they know a lot, they have the information, but they've never actually walked the path. So they might know information, they might know how to get there, but it doesn't land the same because it's like you've never actually gone there. You've never actually walked that path. Whereas I've always been somewhere where I'm like, I might buy the map. I might be in the spaces, but it's like, okay, I'm gonna walk with that knowledge. And so all of a sudden, I've now climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed. So then I see all of these different things. It's like I see the path that everyone walks down, but I'm like, oh, there's a boulder there. Actually, I walk down that path, don't go down that path. It looks like it's the easy path, but then I've gone down that path and you're gonna get lost. Or there's like a whole lot of rocks there. So it like looks really good. And I know everyone's walking down that path, but what you're gonna find on the other side, because I can see it now. I can actually see because I've now been climbing and climbing and climbing. So I'm now able to give very tailored knowledge based on my path, based on how I've led myself. So what I find is really people that are preaching, people that are just telling, they're not actually moving, they're more talking about a concept that they've heard from other people, a concept that's been absorbed from them. Maybe they've acquired the knowledge, maybe they've purchased the knowledge, but they've never actually moved with that knowledge. They've never actually climbed. So it's like they've consumed and consumed and consumed, and they're oftentimes confused because they're consuming so much. Have you ever done this before where you've learned all these concepts, but you're like, they all conflict each other, and now I'm really confused? This reflects to me how much there's like overconsumption. And there's no ability to sift out thoughts where it's like, I can hear four different opinions from different people with similar results and they might all conflict each other, but I never get confused because it's up to me to then hear all of those and go, okay, what's my truth? And that's what I'm always teaching. I'm teaching based on the path that I've led myself down. Whereas people that are preaching, it's more conceptual. It's more like, let me tell you because I know. And I've met people like this before where they're like, but I know what to do, but I know the strategy. And it gets frustrating for people because they hear information, they're like, I already knew that. But it's like, well, why didn't you have the result yet? And this is something that I think is very humbling for people, where it's like you might know everything. But if you really know everything, then there should be a degree where it's like there are some results coming. If you know everything, then how do you move with that knowledge? Who are you on the other side of this? And we see this in every single industry. People that are like, there's a reason why there's a thing about like the know-it-alls. You know everything. It's like, it's great to know everything, but what do you do with that knowledge? And so we want to get into a mindset where it's like we want to learn so much. I think it's so important to be learning. I'm learning all of the time. And I go through phases and I go through seasons of like I learn to an extent where I get very satiated and I'm like I feel really content with what I know. And then I basically block off the entire world. I don't listen to a lot of things. I still have my spaces that I'm in, my mastermind, my mentorship. There might be an occasion calls that I listen to or things that I listen to, but my biggest priority is to then move with the knowledge that I have and move and move and move and discover my own intelligence until I get to a place where I'm like, oh, I feel the hunger again. I'm like, okay, I want to go learn now. Like I've led myself to an edge of a mountain. Now let's go beyond it. But okay, what can I acquire? What toolkit? What can I learn? What other maps can I purchase? But it's like, don't just buy the map. Go discover the actual path that lies beyond the map that you've purchased. Because the map will give you the trajectory that other people have walked. But at the end of the day, if you want to be successful, you have to go find your own truth. It's why every story is so different. There are very like cyclical trends with success stories where people share their success story and they share their way. But one thing I've really, really learned is that You just cannot follow anyone else's way, to be completely honest. And I know that you can follow the concept, you can follow like the model. There's still structure. Like I still teach, especially my program Ignition. Ignition is an incredible place to start in my world if you're not ready to go on the experience, because Ignition is 4 weeks and it's like every week there's like a daily training in there. So there's so much, there's like 32 modules in this program. It's insane. It is insane. Oh my gosh. Whenever I think about it, I'm like, there's a lot in there. But each week is so like there's a process, right? It's like we bring the vision to life. We look at the vision. We look at like how to move beyond limits. We look at everything that's kind of in the way. Then we go into the ideation of like how to actually like bring your idea to life. What are your ideas? Then we go down to the brand identity piece. This is about like building the actual brand. And then we have an entire segment on monetization paths and how to actually like monetize your business. So that's like my entire strategy. And you get to learn and absorb all of those pathways, all of those ways. But then it's like you've got to take all that knowledge. That's the map. That's my entire map. But you have to take the knowledge and go find your own truth on the other side of that. You've got to take the knowledge and then go build your own company from that. But your company will be your company, but because you've taken what you've learned and you've alchemized this into intelligence. And so when you go to teach people, because you'll have people be like, what did you do? Tell me everything. It's going to be so different to what I've done because you've absorbed that knowledge and now you're like, okay, well, this is what I've learned. I've now got to here. Here's all the things that I see. And there will be concepts that you might pull from my work and things that you've learned that are part of your journey, part of your toolkit. But there will also be your own learnings and your own integrations and your own lessons from that, because at the end of the day, you've got to do this. No one else can do this work for you. No one else can do this for you. You've got to be the one. You've got to be the one that walks and brings this to life. It's why I love this work so much, because I'm like, you can build everything you've ever dreamt of. Like that's all available to you. You can do that. But what it's going to require is you to learn everything, but also to move with the knowledge to bring your work to life. And so notice where you've gotten a little bit, because I see so many people do this, so many people that they just tell people what to do. And it's come from that like preacher vibe of like telling people, but it's like, but have you actually done this? Do you actually know what's required? Because there's two very different things between those that know the path and those that have walked the path. And the difference between the two is everything.